1059 The Region, and yesterday I posted an article, How to Talk to Kids About the Ukraine Invasion. And boy, did it touch a nerve, and there's a lot of parents out there who are really concerned and actually getting questions from their kids. And after I posted the article, they had even more questions as well. So I thought, you know what? Let's go to the source. Deborah Farmer Kris is the one who wrote the article for PBS SoCal, and she is a parent educator, an education journalist, children's book author, and founder of Parenthood 365. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Years ago, our kids were not as easily exposed to everything good and bad in the world, but we now live in a world where even 4- and 5-year-olds are being exposed to news like the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things I was noticing as, this piece has really been making the rounds. And I think a lot of people have been grateful for information. And I've seen some, and I understand where the sentiment comes from, parents saying, I don't want to talk to my kids about this because I should be able to shield them because they're young. But I think we have to understand that they're going to hear about this because this is not going away tomorrow from somewhere, the news, the bus, somebody at school. And if they don't hear something from us first or at least second, they're going to start filling in the gaps with their own imagination. So if we can be that steady, calm, reassuring voice, giving them accurate but age-appropriate information, reassuring them that they're loved, that they're safe, that's going to be exactly what they need, because otherwise their imaginations are going to fill in a lot of gaps in potentially scary and unhealthy ways.
Exactly. I was just going to say their imaginations might take them more to a scary place. So I'm getting parents saying to me, but my kids are asking, could it come here? And I don't know how to answer that because I don't know myself.
I think that's the prime fear that a kid's going to have is initially, how is this going to, will this affect me and my family? And, right now, I think we can stick with the facts that we know, which is here's Ukraine, here's Russia, this is what's happening. And then to listen to that fear and say, I know, I hear that sounds, that sounds like it would be scary if it did. But I like to go back to two key principles, and both are from Fred Rogers, who just had such a way of talking to kids. And that is, anything that's mentionable, but anything human is mentionable, and anything mentionable is manageable. And what kids bring to us are their fears, and they don't need us to solve them. They need us to hear them and to reassure them that we're here to keep them safe and loved and cared for. And most young kids don't need much more than that. They don't need all the details of geopolitics. They need to know that, that they're cared for, and then to reorient them. This is the other Mr. Rogers quote, to start to look for the helpers.
Look for the helpers.
Because anytime there's a crisis, it can bring out the best and worst in humanity. And what can we do to help? Should we have that lemonade stand to raise some money? We did a food drive with my family and some others here for the Afghan refugees being resettled. And that's empowering to kids to feel like they can do something.
Okay, stand by for just a second. There is so much to cover here, and I want to try and offer as much information to parents out there. So stay with me for just a moment if you could. I'm talking with Deborah Farmer Kris, who is a parent educator and education journalist. The other question I am getting from parents now is, and this seems so basic, why is Russia doing this?
This is where actually metaphor comes in really handy to relate it to something they can understand. Because, Russia's clearly being the aggressor here. And so, for my son, the way I explained it was, if someone who was bigger than you, came and walked into your room and said, I want all of this is mine. Would you like that? Would that be fair? And that's a little bit, you have some of this country with who's bigger, and you have Ukraine, and Ukraine doesn't want them to come and say all of this is mine. And that was enough for young kids. We actually want them growing up thinking about justice and empathy in those terms, and that all these conversations are an opportunity for us to reinforce some of our values as a family.
There's one other thing here. I don't know if you've considered this, that your article and this kind of talk is also very good for adults. because quite often when we need something explained in world history, something complex, a lot of times I like to go to kids' websites because it's explained quite easily.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think we could all do with greater understanding, and this could be an opportunity for all of us to sit down with that globe and say, let's talk about this world. We're so interconnected. I got to say, in my son's room, there's a huge map of the world, and we have a globe as well. We love maps at our house because I think in this interconnected world, we need to be mindful of our neighbors, and we also need to be, increasingly building the understanding to realize that we're all neighbors. That what happens to us, what's happening to Ukraine has ripple effects everywhere. And so that can seem scary, but that can also be a beautiful thing as we feel more and more connected to each other.
The article is How to Talk to Kids About the Ukraine Invasion. It's on pbssocal.org. I've got a link to it on my Twitter account and the 1059 Twitter account. I've been talking with Deborah Farmer Kris. And tell me a little bit about parenthood365.com.
So at Parenthood 365, you can access a lot of my articles and books. And parenting wisdom, I write for PBS Kids and for NPR's Mind Shift about parenting. And so this is a kind of a one-stop place if you're looking for ways to talk about kids about anything that's feeling difficult to talk about.
All right. Thanks for this, Deborah.
Thank you.